So I recently was in a business meeting, and I do apologize as I'm clearly driving, and I'm heading to Pennsylvania, and I wanted to record some of these thoughts that I've been thinking about. But so I was recently in a business meeting where I had to do a presentation, and this was actually for an interview, right? And the presentation, there was guidelines to this where they had sent me basically financials on the company, market share, at least all this data, right? I got like these two attachments. And the third attachment was like the assignment. The assignment was prepare a business plan. Pretend you are presenting to the board. No, it wasn't a business plan. Put together a growth plan and discuss your first 180 days in the role. So, and then it said prepare a brief presentation, right? So I remember staring at that and thinking, well, writing a growth plan is not really a brief exercise. It's pretty involved. Having written business plans before, like I've been given 2 days to present business plans before. The last one I did, major one I did was in 2022, and so I was thinking, like, wait a minute, how am I going to do this and not kill them with minutia data? So I was really thinking about it, and I thought, then the agenda came out, and I was going to have 2 hours for this. So I was like, okay, still, I got to figure out how to make this work. And here's the part that this is where my experience and confidence, I feel, helped me. Normally in the past, I would just be reading this over and over and over again and thinking, like, okay, I need to do exactly what they tell me here. But what I did decide to do is I thought, my experience with presenting is you want to tell a story, lead the audience down a path and tell a story. So it gives context, it keeps people engaged, and hopefully opens up for general discussion versus just like, a one-way street where you're standing there with a PowerPoint presentation. So that's stuff that I've been pretty good about over the years. But what I added to this was, and this is the part I wanted to share, it was like kind of like this aha moment. And I might have been doing this before, I just didn't realize I was doing it. I thought, no, I am going to set the expectation for this meeting. I'm going to set the tone. Not meaning I'm going to send an email back to them, be like, no, this is how I'm going to have this interview. So what I did was I prepared 9 slides. That was it. I looked at kind of some of the materials, and I was able to categorize all the topics into 8 bullet points, 8 overall topics. So each topic basically was a slide. And the approach I took is I am going to use these as talking points. Thankfully this is an industry that I really know, and I don't need to write all this stuff out in slides and all this stuff. I could have bullet points and then speak to them, which I think is more effective because they're focusing on me, not on the slide. So when I got to the meeting, after I pulled these slides together, when we sat down and turned on everything, shared it. Now keep in mind, in this meeting I had a CFO who would be my counterpart. I had the founder of the company. He recently has sold it, but is still involved. Sweet guy, by the way. And then I had 2 board members from the parent company that acquired it from the owner. super good dudes. I've been dealing with them from the start of this process. Super good dudes. And then the owner of the investment company, who would be remote in, the rest of us are all in the conference room. His name is the same as mine. Super nice guy. Like, I can't say enough about how great it's going to be potentially to collaborate with these people. As of this recording, I'm not working there yet, but maybe I'll touch on that at the end of this. So when I had the presentation started, when I was on that, like, whatever, that first slide that just has your name on it or whatever, I said, for today's meeting, I've put together 8 major talking points for to present to you and to open for discussion. And I said I would prefer an interactive discussion, and we'll work through each area. Let me tell you, that felt really good because I set the tone for the meeting. I dictated the expectations for the meeting versus, obviously I have to deliver with what they want and give them the information what they want, because otherwise, like, and I wasn't a jerk about it. I just said, this is how we're going. And they're like, okay, great. The first slide was just some bullet points. I can't remember how many were on there. Some talking, and I think I labeled the table. You know how you have a table of contents page, like after your like cover slide. I, instead of typing table of contents or whatever you put up there, I put talking points. So I mirror it in my slides. These are the 8 talking points, and I think I had like a summary slide, so it's like another slide. So 9. There was probably more than 9 slides if you count the cover slide, the bullet, the table of contents slide that I said we need talking points. But the first slide where and I do remember what the topic was. It was talking about the team, like basically the first 180 days, like this is what I would do with the team. We spent 45 minutes on the first slide, and not because I spent 45 minutes on it. We spent 45 minutes on it because there was enough there that triggered a discussion. It came off exactly how I wanted it. They were telling us how they did things now, and like based on what I'm saying, like this aligns with what we want to do, and so if you've done this, like it was awesome. So then we all kind of laughed. We're like, whoa, we're never going to get done this if we, because I had to catch a flight to get out of there. I'll talk about that in another video. And so we got through everything, and that was like the approach I took, right? Worked really, really well. And 2 things that came out of that. Well, one, they were all like, at the end, they were, you're supposed to say this, like, good job, thank you for preparing. The founder, when I stopped by his office later on, just to kind of like say goodbye, he got up and said, your presentation was such a confirmation of the direction we want to head in. I really appreciate you putting that together and spending so much time engaged with us on it. So I was like, wow, great, awesome, awesome. He's like, you really got us to think, and also know that we're on the right path. Awesome to hear. And then one of the guys from the board said to me when we were wrapping up, he said, you are a perfect fit for what we need. You're exactly who we're looking for. And based on all of this. So it was just awesome. Now, I'm not saying that like this strategy that I used for this meeting is the end all be all and you should do this for you also kind of have to know your audience. And because I had various like one-on-one teams meetings with them, I knew that like they weren't going to be super rigid and be like, well, you didn't do the assignment the way we wanted it to. I basically interpreted the assignment, paid attention to how much time we had allotted, and realized what, because if I started presenting a business plan and we only got through a portion of it and 2 hours came and went, I just couldn't do that, right? And a business plan on what? I don't work there, right? So I have some financials and a report, but I'm not entrenched in there yet. So part of my presentation, I talked about KPIs and I talked about benchmarking certain areas of the business so we could then build a plan, a real plan based off of real data. And that really worked. So needless to say, just to wrap this up, because all the years of experience presenting and doing plans and interviews, whatever, I kind of took it to the next step and took control. I recommend trying this technique if you're in a similar situation than I was, where you set the expectations, because I think if I just would have gone in there and just started presenting, I'm sure it would have been fine, but maybe a slide or two in, people would be like, where's the business plan? Where's the numbers, the detail? But I, right out of the gates, told them what I was doing. And that kind of, like I said, that approach or that phrasing was really, sorry if it's distracted, there's like 3 fire trucks, 2 ambulances, and like 6 police cars all with their lights on the side of the road over there. So that worked. I recommend trying it, that approach, in the right situation for you, and hopefully you're successful with it. Be confident but not cocky is what I say. So thanks for watching, and if you're kind of into these business chats, there's a few more kicking around on the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you on the next one.